Hi, it's Shayna Renee, your human design coach, relationship coach, tarot reader, astrologer, manifestation teacher, all kinds of things. Check the description box below if you're interested in any of my personal services. I also have a members only video library I'm going to leave the link to, which includes my shadow work courses, manifestation courses, and I'm always adding videos to it. So let's get into this video. This video is going to be kind of a general talk about projectors. I am one. And it's not going to be like too structured, but I just wanted to share with you some things that I've learned through experience and that I've heard as well. Some of them may be things you've heard before, but I feel like most of them may be unique things that you are not going to hear regurgitated in like all the projector videos. So we're just going to skip right on past the whole invitation thing and all that, because we already know that, right? Your projector, you know you have to wait to be invited. Okay. This is one you may have heard before, but we as projectors are more easily conditioned, and it's for the fact that we need to plug into people. We're very focused on others. That is kind of our purpose. So it may be easier to condition us and sometimes manipulate, even unconsciously, right? Especially in interpersonal relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, but even like business relationships. And other times it can feel, a lot of times I've noticed it can feel like people are manipulating you intentionally, but what's actually is happening is that you are kind of, because of the conditioning, bending almost to their will without them even having to ask you, and it can cause this sense of this bitterness because you feel like you can't help it, right? That's kind of the nature of human design. So it's just so important for projectors to choose who they're around. I mean, it's important for everyone, but especially for you guys, it's so more important than for any other type, to really be selective and using your strategy and authority to select the people in your life or who you're going to be around. Okay. I already said we're one-on-one beings, which brings me to this point, and this can be with friendships, but this is more so in romantic relationships that I've noticed. When we enter into a romantic relationship, once we're assuming that we've been recognized and invited, a lot of projectors can look to their partner to be their sole source of recognition, and they cannot be there to recognize you all the time. They are their own being, they have their own individual self, their own life. So you need other sources of recognition outside of your relationship. But the other point I wanted to make about this is that projectors, we are so good at, and we just naturally, whatever we decide or whoever we decide to focus on at any given point, we give it our undivided attention like no one else. Okay. So if you enter a relationship with someone, especially as you're not self or they're not self, they can become very addicted to this undivided attention that you are able to give. And later on in the relationship, should you decide, because there will probably come a point where you will decide to focus your attention on something else, be it a family member, a friend, a business, work, whatever the case may be, you may meet this resistance from this person. They may become envious, jealous, insecure if they're not self, because they have had a taste of that undivided attention and they want it. Okay. And because of the conditioning that we mentioned earlier, for projectors who have not yet mastered their boundaries, because boundaries are so important for us, may start neglecting the other things that they want to pay attention to in order to keep this relationship, or they just may find themselves fighting literally to be themselves in a relationship, because the other person may take it very, very personal, towards like, oh, you're choosing that over me, that kind of thing. When in reality, as a projector, you're desiring to pay attention, to really focus on one thing or one person at a time. So I thought that maybe some of you could relate to that or make sense of it, which is why it's even most important to always, have your other sources of recognition right from the beginning, so that you're not dependent on them for one, and they're getting drained from that, and vice versa on the other side of that coin, so that they're not becoming so accustomed to having your undivided attention all the time, that there's a problem when they don't have it. Okay. So projectors can be often the different one in childhood. Like you're always the black sheep in your family, other kids, especially even with your parents, because most projector children, unless you're raised by a projector parent, are misunderstood. And even those that are raised by projector parents, your parents probably didn't have knowledge of human design in your upbringing, and so they were operating as a manifestor, operating as a generator. I've heard Ra Uru, who the channeler of the human design system, say many times that most parents are programming and raising their children to be manifestors, be out a go-getter, be a make it happen, go after it type of person. And since only 10% of the population are manifestors, most people are being programmed incorrectly to be against themselves, right? So it's very common that projector children have felt their difference right from the beginning of their life, or as soon as they were conscious enough to understand that. So let's see what else. I'm looking at my notes because I wrote a few things down. I don't want to like repeat anything or skip anything. Okay, sacral energy can be very addictive for us, and it's not just for us. This can go for manifestors too. And reflectors don't have sacral energy. However, reflectors, they sample energy, so they kind of take an energy and then they kind of shake it off. You know, they don't stay plugged in the way that we do. And then manifestors, well, they can be addicted to sacral energy as well, but they're very lone wolf creatures, and they have a repelling aura anyway, so they're not subjected to this as projectors are. We're the most subjected to this sacral energy addiction, and it shows up in several ways. Sacral energy can be addictive for us because we don't have that constant energy to go. So then if we have a sacral being, meaning a generator or manifesting generator, in our field on a constant basis, we obviously get conditioned to go, thinking that we can do how they do, but we're borrowing that energy. Remember, we're borrowing that energy, and there's only so much of it that we can absorb and use before it starts to burn us out. And the problem is we don't realize we're burning out, right? So we become addicted because we feel like we can just conquer the world in a day. The other way that it can be addictive is through sex. Okay, projectors become very, very, very addicted to sacral energy when it comes to sexual dealings. Okay, because we don't have access to that energy all the time. It's not as much. I don't think it's as much about the physical sex as it is that energetic charge. Okay, but we amplify. Remember, we amplify energy centers that we don't have access to on a regular basis. That's for anybody that has whatever open center you have. When you meet a person who has that center defined, it's going to be amplified. So for us, sacral energy gets super times 10, right? So even sacral beings may notice that they get 10 times even more of the energy around us than they may get even when they're just on their own. Okay, so it can kind of become like a codependent cycle. They're addicted to that. You're amplifying it, and you're addicted to that big energy that you're getting. And well, sex is a very easy way to get it, access to it. So we can definitely become addicted to sacral energy, which over time wears us down and drains us. It makes us feel alive for a little while, and then it starts to slowly deplete us. So we need to still be careful that we're taking breaks from it. This can even happen in the workplace too. So you may notice if you work in a busy restaurant or like a busy place where anywhere you go, there's immediately going to be in a generator field, because 70% of the world is generator energy, right? And in that environment, you feel like you can go. You get addicted to the hustle and bustle, but then on your day off or when you get home, you're just drained and you don't have any energy for anything else. Another thing about projectors is we understand things on a much deeper level than anybody else. I was watching a YouTube video and someone was explaining, manifestation, how it works, and my mind starts going into all these nuances and all these deep layers. Like she's talking about like changing a belief system, and in my opinion, from where I'm seeing it, she's explaining it at a very surface level, because I'm like, okay, you can change that belief, but then there'll be this belief and that belief under that you're going to have to address, right? So, but that's part of our gift. However, it can make some people feel really invaded. It can make them feel like you're invading their very existence, because we're able to see so deep. But that's what helps us master systems. That's what helps us master people. Okay, very important to practice your strategy. Like I said, we're going to really go into that, the invitation, because like you already know that if you're a projector and you're into human design, if you're watching this video, you probably already know that. We are the most versatile type. There's there are more types, different types of projectors than there are different types of generators or different types of manifestors, different types of manifesting generators. And what I mean by that is that we have so many different combinations of the centers defining us. Like you have mental projectors, and you have projectors who have all the lower centers defined besides the sacral, of course. We just have like the most different combinations. We have the most number of combinations that we can have in our not our birth chart, our human design chart. Okay, a tip I'm going to share with you, very important, your motivation, which is that top right arrow. So their motivations, I think their need, their innocence, desire, fear. Can't think of all of them right now, but your motivation as a projector is more important for you than everybody else. Like other people kind of fall into their motivation more they align, but if you find that you're bitter or you're having hard times making decisions or whatever it is, ask yourself, am I living in my motivation? Am I living my motivation? So I really suggest getting familiar with what your motivation means for you and start paying attention to when you're not operating from that motivation. As a projector, it's very important. As exactly why this is more important for projectors than others, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, but I do know that Ra who did mention this in the video he made, and I took that advice, and it really helps with aligning as a projector. So, or helping you get back on track as a projector if you find yourself kind of off track. Another thing is our human design experiment tends to take longer than others because we, as projectors, we need to dive deep into all the other layers that other people don't. Ross said a manifestor or generator type, they can get their strategy and their authority told to them within a week or two. They got it. For us, it takes a lot more complicated, a longer process because we have to dig deep into and learn the system in its entirety. Okay, but that's not a bad thing. And last thing, in my personal opinion, projectors are the only people who should be teaching human design. And the reason for that, for me, is because we're the only ones that can truly understand system at its deepest level. That is part of our purpose. That's the way we're made up. So I'm not hating on any human design coaches or teachers out there who are not projectors, but I feel that by our very design, no pun intended, that we're the only ones truly qualified to teach it at its deepest level and understand it at its core level. And to teach something, you have to truly understand it. So, any other things you can think about projectors that you think are unique or that you've had in your experience, please leave the comments below.